incorporate air into something, usually a butter, eruption is the process of adding very tiny packets of air to something. In the case of fats and oils, this is normally done using mechanical, physical means such as creaming a mixture together using a wooden spoon or using an electrical whisk. Baking powder is a product used for leavening that is a combination of baking soda and either citric or tartaric acid or a mixture of the two. The difference between baking soda and baking powder is the baking soda is a sodium bicarbonate which requires an acid and a liquid to become activate and help bake goods rise conversely. While the baking powder includes sodium bicarbonate as well as an acid, it only needs a liquid to become activate. Substituting one for the other is possible with careful adjustments. Cake flour is a low-protein flour that is silky and fine in texture that can be used for pastry, cakes, cookies, and certain breads. In baking, eggs can perform many tasks for a recipe, including thickening, binding, leavening, coating, glazing, mixturizing, drying, or emulsifying. The major ingredients in the vast majority of baked goods, flour can be made from many different kinds of grains and other substances like beans, legumes, seeds, corn, oats, soybeans, teff, quinoa, amaranth, buckwheat, rye, spelt, and more. Wheat flours, however, are by far the most common flour used in baking. This protein is found in wheat and various cereal flours, although some people are allergic to it. Gluten makes up the structure of the bread dough and holds the carbon dioxide that is processed by the yeast or other substance during the fermentation process. Produced from flour racked through the work of bees. Bees honey is an all-natural sweetener that produces a golden color crust and enhanced mixture in different baked goods. Used in fondant icings for cakes, invert sugar is sugar syrup that has been slightly heated and exposed to small amount of acid in order to break up sucrose into fructose and glucose and reduce crystal size in the sugar. Jam is a fruit spread made from chopped fruit cooked with sugar until it reaches the jam setting point, usually around 215 Fahrenheit. Kneading is the process of working dough with the help of one hand, pressing and folding it and turn it a quarter of a turn after each time the dough is pressed and folded. Leavening agents are ingredients added or techniques used to incorporate gases into baked goods. They help your baked goods rise. Leavening agents can be natural or chemical. Meringue is made by Whipping egg whites with sugar. There are several types of meringues that you can make, and it all depends on how you incorporate the sugar and if you use it to make the meringue. Nut flour. Nut flour is made up on nut meats that have been finely ground. The nuts that are used can be either toasted or not, and the flour is used for breads, cookies, cakes, and pastry crunch. Oil. Oil is the common choice used in most baked goods recipes, and this can be replaced on for one with a cup of apple sauce. Pastry flour. Pastry flour is low in gluten and high in starch. It is usually fine texture and soft, and it comes in bleached, unbleached, and whole wheat varieties. Soft bread or white wheat is typically used in the production of pastry flours. The difference between pastry flour and cake flour is pastry flour is made with soft flour, meaning it has much less protein content and produce less gluten. Cake flour has even less protein content than pastry flour, but not by much. It has just enough protein to give the cake a little structure, but not enough to make it too. Cake flour. Cake flour is a bread that can be made very quickly because not time is needed for braining or rising in its production. Leaf flour is made from the rye grain and is low in gluten. It is also darker and heavier than wheat flour and is sold in dark, medium, and light forms for use in baking at home. Salt. Salt is used to add flavor to baked goods and control fermentation in breads. Salt, also known as sodium chloride, salt is made one of three different ways. Salt can be produced three ways. Texture. The appearance and feel of a cut part of a cake or bread. This term describes unleavening. Unleavening is describe baked goods that do not use a leavening agent, like baking soda, cream of tartar, baking powder, or yeast. White chocolate. White chocolate is a mixture of cocoa butter, lecithin, vanilla, milk solids, and vanilla. True white chocolate always includes cocoa butter, and those products that do not contain it but are called white chocolate are actually more properly called confectionery or summer coating. XXXX confectioner's sugar. The confectioner sugar or XXX that exists on the package of confectioner sugar indicates how finely it has been ground. 4X sugar is slightly finer than 3X sugar, but the two different kinds can be so interchangeably in the same recipe. Yes. The yeast that is used in baking is the single called fungi of the species. species Saccharomyces cerevisiae. This fungi is a rising agent that ferments sugar, produces carbon dioxide and alcohol, and expanding the bread dough. This is the thin outer skin of the citrus fruit. It is fragrant and removed with a paring knife. Vegetable peeler a citrus so that it can be added to baked goods for a citrus flavor. Measuring cups and spoon. And baking is all about precision. So having a full set of measuring cups and spoon on hand is a must. But don't think you can get by with just one type of measuring cup. You will need both dry and wet measuring cups to accurately measure all your ingredients. Keep this tool in an easy to reach spot because you will use them all the time. Wooden spoon. One wooden spoon is enough, but this tool is so handy. It can sometimes be helpful to have a couple around. Rubber spatula and rubber scraper. We're willing to bet you reach for your rubber scraper more often than you think. This tool is ideal for scraping the last bit of butter or dough out of a pan, or for scraping all the nooks and crannies out of your jam jar. Spatula. When you need to transfer fresh out of the oven cookies to a cooling rack or serve a piece of cake from a 9x13 pan, there's no tool better than a good old spatula. Pastry brush. This handy tool has more uses than you realize. It can be used to grease a pan before pouring in cake batter, to coat the dough with melt butter or egg wash, or to paint milk on top of a pie crust, especially if you're a frequent baker. Whisk. We can use our whisk to beat together a few eggs, but it's handy for other tastes too. In particular, it's one of the best ways to truly mix together by dry ingredients, and is also great for stirring together a homemade custard. Rolling pin are definitely the most useful for rolling out pie crust, cookies dough, and puff pastry, but there are other ways you can put this tool to work in your kitchen. You can put a sieve to work in a lot of different ways. Your bakers is probably the most useful for setting dry ingredients or adding a dusting of powdered sugar to a finished pan of brownies or cookies. Kitchen knife or chef knife is, if you have only one knife in your home kitchen, make it this one. This all-purpose knife is great for slicing, dicing, chopping, and mincing just about any ingredients your recipe calls for. Baking pan is a sheet pan. Baking tray or baking sheet is a flat rectangular metal pan used in an oven. It is often used for baking bread, rolls, pastry, and flat products such as cookies, sheet cakes, whisk, roll, and pizza. Oven is an enclosed space with part that supplies airflow, and heat order to cook. Electrical elements or gas burners are used in conventional oven for baking, rolling or roasting, while convection oven also includes a fan to circulate heat or heat air all around the food. Electric oven usually have control to circle the temperature of the upper and lower elements for consistent cooking temperatures. The importance of tools and equipment is using the correct utensil for cooking. Ensure that you get the right taste for the dishes you are preparing. When you use the correct utensil, you will find it easier to measure the ingredients needed. For example, when baking cakes, you need the right measurement of sugar, flour, and cornstarch. The right tools and equipment are necessary to achieve any target. The incompatible and if insufficient equipment can result in total failure. Perfect baking demands baking skill, the right tools, and a precise recipe. Evidently, safety is the most important factor involved in using the right tool for the job, but using the wrong tools can cause damage to both the thing you are working on and the tools themselves. Ensuring you use the right tool will also reduce the amount of effort you need to get a job done.